Now at 6, a search for more victims after multiple women say they were harassed at a park in Tigard. The details on the suspect police have in custody, and later.
This individual knew exactly what he was doing.
Police looking for this man caught on camera repeatedly abusing a dog inside a Northeast Portland apartment building.
And the Trailblazers season is just 2 months away, but we still don't know where we can watch them after the team ends its 3-year partnership with Root Sports. Our Thomas Schultz will have more on that in just 5 minutes.
All right, before that report from Thomas, how about this live look from Sunrise photographer Eric Patterson? Daylight starting to take shape out there in Canby. That's the home of Swan Island Dahlias and their annual Dahlia Festival underway at this point. It runs through the end of September, open Wednesdays through Sundays. It's free to attend, my friends. It's free to park there. And it's absolutely free to watch all the flowers as they take shape and bloom over the next few weeks. We'll have more from Eric in just a moment. Something worth mentioning here as we kick off the 6 o'clock hour of Sunrise, the name there. And we've been talking about this for years, but some people still confused, understandably. It's called Swan Island Dahlias. Not located on Swan Island here in Portland. They're out there in Canby. The operation has been around for decades, but it was almost 80 years ago that they picked up the operation from Swan Island, moved it to the farm in Canby. They didn't want to change the name, though, they said, because everyone kind of knew them already. Yeah. Here they are, still explaining themselves 80 years later.
And nobody explains it like Drew Carney does. That's fantastic. It makes it memorable, actually, because I remember you doing the long explanation every year. Here's a look at her. Well, I mean, it's very helpful, Mr. Carney.
You are feisty today.
Very educational.
You are feisty today.
It's in Canby. Canby, good morning to you. We have cloudy skies from the Wells Fargo Tower building. We are dry out there. 65 is the number. Clouds, of course, typically keep you a little bit warmer at night. This is another day where it's tough to tell as a forecaster how much sunbreak activity we will see or not see. I have us 69 at noon and holding at about 76 degrees for a high. Sunrise this morning, where's it at? This way, 6:12 this morning, Chris, is when the sun pops up.
Yes, I noticed it's getting a little, what would I want to say? It's darker longer into the morning, right? All right, let's take you out to the west side into Aloha, TV Highway out near 185th. I just wanted to take you there. There's not much going on. I just wanted to show you that we have cameras all over town, right? One of them on the Sunset's getting a little bit busier near the Sylvan Hill, but still rolling right along there. And guys, the trip out of Clark County looks good as well. So far, here's the good news. No major unexpected delays on the freeways. Back to you.
All right, Chris, we have some news from overnight to get to here. The Port of Portland responded to what's being described as an emergency alert involving a United Airlines flight shortly after 12:30 this morning. Port officials confirmed the plane landed safely at the airport and that all the passengers had to get off. What we still don't know is what caused this emergency, where that plane was flying from, or where it was headed to. We'll update this story as soon as we learn more.
Tigard police are looking for more potential victims after 3 women came forward saying the same man harassed or in one case grabbed them in a local park. Earlier this week, police say a man approached at least 3 women who were running or walking at Cook Family Park.
In 2 of the cases, it sounds like this man approached the women and got pretty close to their personal space, but they were able to kind of push him away and make it so that they could get away from that situation. The third woman, unfortunately, it sounds like this man came up from behind her and actually grabbed her rear end with both hands.
Officers responded to the incident quickly and found the suspect, 29-year-old Jonathan Temprana Oliveras, still in the wooded area where he was first spotted. He was arrested on charges of sex abuse and harassment. Investigators are now asking anyone who may have had contact with the suspect to come forward. And a man who went on a deadly stabbing spree in Beaverton in 2019 will spend the rest of his life in prison. A judge sentenced Salvador Romero this week for killing a 72-year-old woman and injuring 3 others. Police say he was high on meth when he bought a knife at a grocery store and robbed a bank, stabbing 2 women, 1 fatally in the process. Romero also stabbed 2 other people and stole their cars before police eventually arrested him.
We're hearing from the daughter and granddaughter of a father and son who were hit and killed by a car in Boring last weekend. The accident happened around 9 o'clock Saturday night near Southeast Lusted Road and Dodge Park Boulevard. That's where Clackamas County Sheriff's deputies say they found the bodies of 41-year-old Jonathan Brenner and his father, 81-year-old Larry Brenner. The 2 were hit while walking home from a neighbor's house.
I hope this brings some awareness of how dangerous these roads are. The speed limit on a lot of these back roads is 45, and most people we see going 60, 70.
Deputies say the driver did stop at the scene. So far, they haven't made an arrest or issued any charges. A family friend, meanwhile, started a GoFundMe to help Jonathan and Larry's families with expenses. You can find a link at KGW.com. Oregon State Police, meanwhile, seized 60 pounds of drugs after stopping a truck Monday on I-5 in Jackson County. Troopers found 2 5-gallon buckets in the truck that were filled with blue pills believed to be laced with fentanyl. They arrested 2 people for possession and delivery of fentanyl and booked both of them into jail.
New this morning, the CDC says the rise of a highly transmissible respiratory virus could pose serious risk to kids and those who are pregnant. It's called the parvovirus. Now, this is different than the parvovirus seen in dogs and cats. The CDC says infections jumped from less than 3% to 10% in the last 2 years. If infected, children could get a face rash and pregnant women could face severe complications.
More health news here. The World Health Organization declared Mpox a global public health emergency in response to an outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo that later spread to neighboring countries. Experts say the outbreak is fueled by a new variant that spreads more easily through close contact. So again, this is now a global health emergency, but the threat remains low here in Oregon and Washington. Oregon reported just 10 cases so far this year, and Washington's numbers are so low we couldn't get an accurate count from the state's website. Health officials say the best way to protect yourself from Mpox is to get vaccinated. Applications to refinance a home surged 35% last week compared to the week before. Interest rates also fell a little more than 6.5% last week, but they're down 33 points over the past month. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, it was the strongest week for refinancing since May of 2022.
The Trailblazers are making a big change, announcing the organization is cutting ties with Root Sports.
Blazers games have been broadcast on Root Sports for the past 3 years, and so far the team hasn't settled on a new TV partner. Thomas Schultz joins us live now from the Moda Center with more on this. Thomas?
Hey, good morning, guys. And yeah, this is a big deal and a big change for avid Blazers fans, and frankly, comes as a bit of a surprise, too. Now, in a statement, the Trailblazers say they thank Root Sports for years of great partnership and say an exciting announcement on the future television home of Blazers basketball will soon be made. The Blazers had 1 more year left on its deal with Root and are now discussing new deals with multiple broadcast partners. This comes months after the Seattle Kraken moved on from Root Sports, and some of their games are now going to be broadcast on KGW as well as our sister stations in Seattle and Spokane. The Blazers reportedly became increasingly frustrated with Root's inability to strike a deal with major satellite providers as well. And just before the start of last season, Comcast Xfinity dropped the sports network from its standard package too, forcing viewers to pay an extra $20 monthly to watch the Blazers, which further narrowed viewership. Now, this all comes at the same time that the NBA has just entered a new agreement on its own streaming, and with streaming platform Amazon. They'll stream a lot of NBA games this upcoming season, and at the same time, ESPN and ABC will continue to broadcast more than 100 games this year as well. Guys?
All right, Thomas Schultz reporting for us on the Blazers there live in front of the Moda Center this morning. Rodney, Blazers season starts not next month, but the month after, so that NBA season is getting close, and we still don't have a settled TV partner.
I bet you, actually, we were speculating ourselves. You would think that announcement would come sooner than later because, to your point, right, the season's not that far off.
You got to put the commercials on.
That's exactly right. All right, here's a look at our rain potential. Yes, we have a rain potential map. Look at us. This is unfortunately over the weekend, but confidence is very high right now that we will see fairly widespread measurable rainfall develop during the day Saturday, with those rain chances going into Sunday morning. So this shows about 0.3 of an inch at the coast. 0.2 quarter up and down the I-5 corridor. You can see Salem 6 out at 1.09. Why would that be? Well, this is the weather model showing there is a chance of a thunderstorm mixed in, and this particular model run puts that thunderstorm right over Salem. Doesn't mean that's going to be true. What I really want you to realize is that if you get a thunderstorm Saturday, you have a chance to get a pretty good bit of rain coming down with it. All right, let's go to right now. Right now we are dry but cloudy on the west side of our state. We have light rain over in central Oregon, and we've had thunderstorms out across the east, and still some heftier rain amounts now moving north of Ontario, and there are some thunderstorms moving across central Oregon still this morning, and there will be more activity this afternoon. So you folks out in eastern Oregon, pretty stormy day is what's showing up for us. We have clouds here in the city and also out across the metro area. That's the Reserve Beaverton Golf Club in Washington County. 63 degrees is the number out there. We have 64 in Beaverton, 63 also in Westland. Again, we're all waking up to a cloudy, quiet morning. 61 in Salem. Later today, we mentioned that thunderstorms expected to be somewhat numerous out east and an ongoing shower chance in central Oregon as well. 70s with some breaks developing up and down I-5, 60s some breaks developing at the coast. Portland 76, another dry day with a mix of clouds and some breaks tomorrow. And then the weekend rain that we talked about developing Saturday into Sunday morning. There's actually another rain chance that pops Wednesday. So clearly this weather pattern of it not being hot set to continue for a while. Back to you.